Welcome back to Juicy Talk, where we keep the conversation real, raw, and sometimes a little uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. I like that word.
Yes.
Hey, welcome back. I'm back.
Welcome back, Hardy.
I'm back.
We're welcome. Glad to have you back, Hardy.
Yes.
Today we're talking about a movement that's been blowing up on social media. It's called BoySober. Now, before some of the men listening get all nervous, relax. This isn't about hating on men. Yes, BoySober Movement is about women intentionally taking a break from dating and relationships, situationships, and the emotional roller coasters that come with them, right? And to think of like a dating detox, right? No chasing, no entertaining what you're doing, text messages in the middle of the night, like what you doing, what's up, just trying to turn, trying to turn a red flag into a relationship. Instead, the focus shifts to healing, self-worth, figuring out why we keep picking the same type of person on repeat. But the question is boy sober or man sober? It has nothing to do with alcohol, but just the sobriety of relationships and detoxing from relationships, a healthy reset. Or is it just another social media trend that sounds good but doesn't actually fix anything? Let's talk about it.
I think it's a trend because women take. What age group is this? Generation Z is considered?
It's a Generation Z is the ones who have been very vocal about it, and they've been putting it out there on social media. It's like gone viral. It's like so many different things, where people have talked about it and discussed it, and it's like groups out there where women are getting together and deciding on this new way of living. And I just really want to talk about it and just hit some things about it, find out about it, talk a little bit about what it all entails and what does it mean and how is it, and just have the conversation around, is this something healthy or is this something that's just not really doable, not realistic? And so that's what we're going to talk about today on the show. Yes, okay. Delta said he hasn't heard about it. Good evening. What's up, honey? And
honey in the building?
Yes, honey in the building. So, no late night booty calls with this, okay? So, we're going to just get into it, and I want to go straight into it. So, I made a banner. We're going to put it up. What is BoySober Movement? We're going to put the definition up.
Okay.
BoySober Movement is a trend where women abstain from dating, apps, and sexual encounters with men for a set period, usually between 3 months to a year, to reclaim their time, mental energy, and self-worth.
So they're basically taking a break from having sex.
It's not just about sex. It's about abstaining from sex, sexual conduct,
See the common words that you just used?
Hmm?
See the words you just used in that? Sexual counters, sexual.
I said it's not just about sexual encounter. It's about sexual encounters, kissing, hugging, situations.
That's sex.
Situations.
That leads to sex, right? All that.
It's more to it. I don't think that's really the premise of it. I don't think it really has a lot to. It's not just about sex. I think it has a lot to do about healing emotionally, not making decisions where you just jump from one relationship to the next.
So you're basically getting tired from jumping from relationships. Meaningful. So you basically having like meaningless sex with multiple people.
I think you're focused on the wrong thing. Well, I don't think it has a lot to. I don't think it has everything to do with sex. I think it has to do with a person taking time out to disconnect from relationships, right? In order to work on themselves and their own mental health and making sure that they're on a proper healing journey where they're not.
So basically, after having sex, had sex for, they was going buck wild
why,
for
why are
6
you
weeks.
obsessed with sex right now?
Because basically, like abstaining from hugging, kissing, that leads to sex, right? You said it yourself,
I
right?
mean, it's some of it, but that's why we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into exactly what it is. So
Well, I
we
did some research
defined it.
too,
Okay.
and I looked at some of the clips, and a lot of women was like, you know what, I'm tired of just giving it away, so I'm gonna sober myself and uh, what they call that? I don't want to say recalibrate myself, but just refrain from having sex because they, from one relationship to another, just like you said. So I did that research too. It's like they want to take a break from that, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we talked a little bit about boy sober movement. It's about women intentionally taking a break from dating and relationships, situationships, and the emotional roller coasters that come with them, right? So like almost like a dating detox, right? And there's no chasing and entertaining. We talked about all of that, right? So what does that actually mean, right? So typically, when people are on a boy or a man sober movement, they join this movement. They usually pick a time frame, whether it be 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, where they intentionally do not date men at all. Okay, so that's
Is that the
closing down dating apps, no entertaining potential relationships, no situations where they're having, just no situationships, no emotional entanglements. And the purpose of it is to break toxic dating patterns, focus on their own personal growth, and build self confidence without romantic validation. And I thought that was a really good one. A woman, because I feel like a lot of times when it comes to relationships, and especially for women, so much you can have a doctorate degree and be successful, own 4 or 5 businesses, and people will be like, oh, but is she married? And they want to know that because it's this stigma in our society around, if you don't have a sustained relationship, that
it's
you're not
something?
valued as much or there's
Mm,
something wrong with you. Yeah, she got all that going on, but she can't keep a man. It's this need for validation and from relationships, right? And it's so much of who we are that has to be validated through a relationship. Like for a long time, that was an issue. And I think that now it's this really big push for people to actually not enter into relationships until they're emotionally mature and healed.
mm.
And a lot of women, like I heard some people saying that they wish that they ready to go back to
Being a
um
virgin again?
what no, that they're ready to go back to being in a relationship. But I've also heard some women say how it was the best decision that they ever made because it really gave them the opportunity to know themselves. I notice when you focus on yourself, you attract what you want, but when you're looking for it, it doesn't come. I agree with that statement.
Yeah, it's kind of like like when you by yourself, don't nobody want you, but as soon as you're in a relationship, everybody comes after you. Everybody. You ever dealt with something like that before?
I think that happens for people to see if an individual is weak or not.
Hmm. So has that ever
I
happened to you
think I
before?
I've talked about it a lot, just about like how a woman when she gets with a man,
Hmm.
how other women will kind of start checking for this other man, like they'll come towards him really strong and it's really not even about the man. It's the woman
Mm.
competing with the other woman. Oh, she thinks she cute and she look happy. Let me see if it's real. Let me see if her man is loyal to her. Is she pumping him up to be? Oh, she say he amazing, he wonderful. I love my man, my man, my man.
Right.
Now it's like I gotta catch him up in a scandal to see if he really is all that he say he is. It ain't even really about whether she like him or not. She just want to see if he, weak to the
So,
game.
so why do you think women are like that? That to me,
I
that's
don't
I
I
mean,
don't know.
and maybe that's why they have problems with men. They do crazy stuff like that.
I don't know. This is more about, and this is why I think boy sober is so good, right? So, honest conversation. What would you say, Reese? Do you say that modern dating can be very exhausting? Yeah,
Mm.
I would think so. Do you think dating
It
is
could be a little
exhausting?
bit. It depends on
Yeah.
where you at in your life.
Ghosting, breadcrumbs, you going out, they say, oh, we're going to meet up at this time. And then you don't hear from them. Or, they give you just a little bit to keep enough to keep you holding on. And, you find yourself, well, I mean, I want to date you, but I got four other situations I'm dealing with. Or, I'm still dating this chick over here,
But
but I like you
what
too.
about that if you tell that person like you're not the only person I'm going out with? Is that fair to do? Isn't that fair? Then it's up to the young lady or the man to say, you know what, I'll pass on that. I don't want to be part of your entourage.
I
But the,
think that anybody has the right to say that.
but I mean, people do the. I guess my thing is like, do people really do that though? You think?
I don't know. I think that people, it just depends on the individual. If the person is um, authentic and
Mm-hmm.
real with themselves, then they don't feel a need to lie to anybody about what they're doing. I think that if you are comfortable in who you are and what you really desire, then you will be honest about what you are. Most of the time I find when people are not honest about what they're doing in relationships, it's because they're uncomfortable in their own skin. They
Mm.
don't want the rejection. They're not prepared for the rejection of a person choosing that whatever it is that they want is not what they want and it doesn't align with them. So they rather just be vague and not speak on it so they can benefit and get whatever it is that they
But
want.
but
And that's men and women.
but can't you just ask that person? And that way you can be clear of everything. Are you dating multiple people, or are you like, am I the only one
People
that you
still
date?
lie.
Oh,
It's about being authentic.
I
That's
guess
why
you're
I
right.
said people lie about a lot of different things.
Look, like, maybe like what had happened was that type of
Hmm.
stuff, right?
So, what are some of the signs that can be exhausting about dating? I mentioned ghosting, breadcrumbing, situationships. Yeah, breadcrumbing. Yeah. People who want relationship benefits, but not relationship responsibility. Because we know that when it comes to relationships, it comes with a responsibility. Um, Juicy, how long do you think it takes a woman to heal or self journey? 6 months, a year, 2 years? I just really think that it depends on the individual and the person. When it comes to healing, I don't think it's a destination. It definitely is a journey. And when you're on a journey, it's forever. There'll always, if you have been in a bad or a toxic relationship that did not benefit you or serve you, there'll always be times when some things will trigger you
Mm-hmm.
or, bring you back to a place of remembrance where you were hurt. So it's a constant thing that you have to constantly work on yourself. It's just a journey and not a place that you arrive. So I think that the biggest part is being aware of what your triggers are, being aware of what it is that bothers you and what it is that you do and you don't want, and staying true to those things that are important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So if you're in a relationship with somebody or you're dating somebody and they have something that you actually don't agree with or don't like or doesn't serve you, and you know that this doesn't work for you, then you're upfront and honest with that. And I think that a lot of problems that occur is because people have never taken the time out for themselves to really examine themselves and know what it is that they truly want.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like trying to figure it out while we in other relationships and we like, oh, I don't like that. So my next guy, I'm not gonna do that. And oh, I like this, but I don't like that in the next relationship. Instead of really spending time with yourself, because when you spend time with yourself and you spend time by yourself, you got to deal with your own issues. There's
Mm-hmm.
nobody else for you to look at and examine. You have to examine yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a place that a lot of people find uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
when you have to deal with your own emotional issues, your own hurts, your past, your things that is a problem for you personally. You know,
You know what I think the best relationship is when you got two unperfect people and they kind of work together on kind of work on themselves to kind of together. You know, in the sense of like, you know, just being upfront with this person, say, you know what, I'm gonna tell you what happened with me and 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 kind of like being there for each other.
mm,
Sometimes you gotta start as being friends and work things out like that. When you take two imperfect people in a relationship.
mm, I
What do you think about that?
disagree.
Really?
I completely and totally disagree.
Yeah. Imperfect people. Imperfect people.
Imperfect people
Yeah.
they get together. I don't feel like anybody is perfect. So I'm not saying that anything is wrong with being imperfect,
Mhm.
but I think that in my opinion,
Okay.
the best relationships is when you have two people who know what they want. They're very intentional about what their desires are, and they make a decision and a choice to come together because they're both healed and they're both respect one another and they want to come together and try to make a relationship work. That to me is somebody who is already an individual and know who they are, know what they want. They have dealt with their past, their issues, or not even that they are dealing with it consistently. They're getting therapy. They know their triggers. They know what they are looking for and can identify what they are looking for in a relationship. Those are the people to me that makes the best relationship. Hardy makes a good point, and you had a good response. It's about discipline. Do you come to the decision after you start seeing someone and then realize that you not interested as much? No, this is when you're making a decision about um, being boy sober. I think that this is something that you make a decision when you're single. You're intentional about it. You realize something in yourself that you need to do, and you act on it.
So basically, like you're constantly dating different guys, but getting the same results.
Well, I think that can happen to some people. I think that it's more or less about working, and it's about instead of searching, constantly searching for love, they take the time to work on their own mental health, focus on their careers, strengthen their friendships, learn what they actually want in a partner. And sometimes that is the biggest realization that you need in order before you get into a relationship.
But that's dating one on one, isn't that?
If that was the case, we would have people out here in healthy, healed relationships.
But based
There would be no need for this podcast because the truth of the matter is that ain't how people are dating. I mean, if we being real, people are not dating in from a healthy place. They're dating from an
but based
unhealed,
on
broken place.
but you based on what you're talking about, sober, boy sober, where through my research,
Dating detoxing.
right, just basically like, but some of the things I saw and I read about was
Mhm.
women was getting tired of the same results from the same multiple men. They say, you know what, I'm tired. Let me just take a step back and get myself together. That's
I
through
think
my research.
well, part yes. You know, it's like maybe I need to work on me because I'm picking the same person. I said earlier, breaking those patterns, those dating patterns of picking people that are not right. And a lot of times that happen from a place of not being healed
Mhm.
properly.
What is it? Codependency? Is
I
that a
don't think it
form
has
of it?
anything to do with codependency. I think it has more or less
Don't
to,
want to be by themselves?
it could be all those things,
Oh, okay,
Hardy.
okay.
I'm just saying in general, I think
Well, I
that
don't know how you can be general on there's so many different levels of, relationships. I don't know if there's such things as general, unless you got some stats that you can back that up with.
what are you talking about right now?
Well, you said like
I was getting ready to say that just in general, it could be any or all of those things that when you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to do in relationships, if you want one or you don't want one. I was just saying generally speaking, I'm not talking about one specific person. I'm just
mhm.
talking overall in general.
But if you
And
want a
in
relationship, you should
relationships,
tell that person that you're going out with, this is my intention.
Hardy, I think that you're missing what I'm saying.
Okay, maybe I am.
Yeah, because I think that what I'm conveying, I'm talking about just this movement
Gotcha.
and what
Okay.
this movement is really about. And one of the things that this movement is about is people are trying to figure out, instead of dating, because it really doesn't have anything to do with dating, it has to do with not dating. It has to do with taking time to concentrate and focus
But
on
they got,
you.
but how did they get to that point though, where they said, I got to stop dating because they had to be dating, right? No? Yes?
I understand what you're
Oh,
saying.
okay.
I'm just trying to figure out I'm trying to get the point that you're making. Explain to me your point. I don't understand the point.
Well, what I was trying to figure out, what I was trying to say to
Mhm.
you is, women got to stop dating these multiple people and say, like we said at the beginning. That's all.
Yeah, that's what
I just-
sober is. Yeah, it's about taking a break, not dating anybody, and focusing on you and your mental health and what's important to you, and um not being distracted, right? Because I think that a lot of times we become distracted when we are trying to figure out what we're doing. So, the controversy of it, right? Because what's the controversy around it? Everything sounds pretty good. You're taking your time, you're not dating, you're taking a break, you're detoxing from dating apps, because you know what? The dating pool is a kind of trip sometimes. And, sometimes it does require for you to take a break
Mhm.
and really focus on yourself and make sure that you're being true to your intentions and what it is that you need. Because a lot of times when it comes to relationships, people don't know what they want. People don't. Men and women alike. They don't know what they want. They haven't sat and took time to really focus on them. And so that's what this movement is about. Now, of course, the BoySober movement has critics, of course. Some people say if you need a break from men to find yourself, you might be dating the wrong man. As if I think that's what you were kind of saying, right, Hardy?
Absolutely.
Some people say this, and others say you can heal and date at the same time, which I completely and totally disagree with, because I feel like when you're healing, broken people shouldn't date.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a place that you're broken, if you have hurts that have occurred, if you have unresolved mom issues, dad issues, you should not date. You should stay single until you work through some of those issues. And some men feel like the movement unfairly paints them as the problem. That's kind of how you feel about it when you were researching it, that people see this as making men the problem.
Well, if that's who they're dating and they're not being satisfied with the person that they're dating, which is the man, yeah, that would be the issue.
See, I disagree.
Why
I
is
think
that?
because I think that you're taking it as if the man is the problem. But I think this is actually the woman taking responsibility and saying, I have no control over a man. I only have control over myself. So in that moment, I'm going to focus on me and making sure that I'm going through the journey that I need to go through to be completely healed. To be honest, it's ideal to have a relationship with the person you are best friends with. I think friendship is better first than romance. I agree with that. I do agree with that. So I don't think this has anything to do with men. I think that this has, I mean,
It has a lot to do with men because they're taking a break from men.
it's a right to not date. Like you can make a decision. Men can make a decision to be girl sober, right? I don't think it has to be, I mean, this is the term was coined by women, but I think that men can decide to take a break. I think it's healthy for men and women alike to take breaks from dating, to date detox in order to focus on themselves. Yeah, I agree with that. So
What she say? I can't. What she say?
she says she agreed with that.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think it really, and I think that's one of the things that I found that is not really about the man, right? I think that it's about the woman focusing on herself and what is best for her life and taking control of her own actions and recognizing, hey, maybe I am picking the wrong type of men to date. And maybe I need to take a step back and realize this not working for me. And I need to focus on some other things, maybe putting my career first, maybe, concentrating on building better friendships or starting a new business or going to counseling or therapy, but not focus on relationships because I think that a lot of times women can really just be so focused on having a relationship that it becomes consuming in a lot of ways. And I think sometimes you just got to push back and say, you know what? I need to work. I need to do some self work. And I think that's what it's really about is about the self work.
Mhm.
It's not about blaming me. It's not about blaming men. To me, it's about breaking cycles. And it is true. Sometimes when you keep choosing the same type of partner, the real question is about you. What's inside of me that keeps saying yes to something that's wrong or doesn't serve me? And I think that you need time to step back and say, you know what? Why do I keep picking the same type of person? Like over and over again, the name change, but it's the same
Mhm.
personality, And sometimes you got to take a step back and be like, you know what? I got to look at myself. What's going on with me?
So it's hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely holding yourself accountable. Absolutely holding yourself accountable. I like that. That's a good word. So, what are some of the signs that you may need to take a break?
I guess like just how you interact with each other. Um, I mean, no one wants to be in a relationship or with a person that's constantly arguing and just um, like um, a relationship is supposed to be very peaceful, enjoyable, and once it becomes just the opposite.
Somebody says, sure, nowadays we have to focus on relationships. Really? Give me the clear answer. I don't feel like we have to focus on relationships. I feel like this is what this is all about. Not focusing on relationships, taking the time out to take a deep breath, and not focus on that. How would one know if a person is compatible, suited? People are like onions, different layers. Absolutely. We are like different layers. But I think that to me, when I think about the boy sober movement and taking time to detox from dating, it's not so much about the man. It's about taking accountability
Mhm.
of yourself and recognizing something within yourself. Like, I'm moving too fast. I've been jumping from relationship to relationship. I'm ignoring red flags because you don't want to be alone, because I'm having issues with being alone. I'm constantly emotionally drained from dating.
Wow.
I'm attracting the same type of person every time and I want something different. When you want something different, sometimes you got to do something different. And sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to step away and reset your standards. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Mhm. We always talk about that. Always, we constantly talk about hitting that reset button in life, no matter what it is. Sometimes it may be financial, could be relationships, could be
Oh,
anything.
I
So,
am, but somebody said, sure, you're perfect. I don't know.
ooh,
It's about working on you. Maybe providing a better you will attract a better person. Absolutely. I agree with that 110%. Delta roots through conversation before looking at someone in a romantic way, peel those layers first. And I think that's the one good thing about taking a break from dating because I'll use myself for an example. Um, I have at periods of time decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from dating. I'm gonna focus on me, what's important for me. And I didn't call it going boy sober movement. It was just me taking stock of myself. And I was like, you know what?
Is that an Usai moment? Maybe? No?
A woosah moment? More just I need to regroup.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to regroup and I need to focus on me, And when I decided to do that, I found that I start creating really, really healthy friendships, really healthy male friendships that were not sexual in nature, really healthy relationships with my friends, start setting really great boundaries for my life that were very helpful and instrumental.
Mhm.
Start putting my energy and my effort to other things because I think that relationships can be consuming when you're focused on another person.
Mhm.
Start paying attention to other things that were important in my life and giving energy and effort to those things that were important as well. And it made a huge difference in just my own happiness and my own peace. It wasn't about anybody else. It wasn't like I was hurting or in this bad space in life. No, it was quite the opposite. I was in a really good space and I wanted to focus on something else other than a relationship.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because I had a conversation with this guy at my job, and he's going through something like that right now.
Mhm.
That, far as relationships, and sometimes you really gotta take that time out to say, you know what, let me just take a step back, maybe 10 steps back and really concentrate on what's really going on. Because sometimes, like one of the things he said, relationship can be very consuming. And if you keep putting stuff into that, sometimes it takes away from you, who you are.
Mhm.
It drains you, and
Yes.
then the problem is, then you not really concentrating on you, and you're kind of like all over the place. So when you by yourself, you isolate yourself and say, you know what, this is probably he agreed that that's probably one of the best things that happened to him was that he
Mhm.
isolated himself. It gave him a chance to think, uh, how his life was turning out, and just it was really good. So it's funny that we talked about the subject today, and he kind of opened up to me about that, where he just had to take a step
Yeah,
back.
because when you know your value, you stop negotiating.
Hmm.
Like when you know how valuable you are, you don't have to negotiate with anybody about your value. You already know it. And I think that sometimes relationships, because it's emotional and it involves your emotions, like sometimes it causes us to operate from a place
Could be cloudy
that,
too. Could
yeah,
cloud
it
your
can make
mind.
your judgment cloudy. It can do a lot of different things like that. And so you need that time to just step away and be like, you know what? I'm gonna do the work on me. you know,
There's
I'm
nothing
gonna
wrong
work
with
on
that.
me.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, how do you tell somebody? Let's say, like, here's the thing, though, right? So let's say you out with you going out with somebody. You've been going out for like 3 months or so, and you like, you know what? But how do you tell somebody, after being involved with them,
Well, that's
3 months
where
in, and you like, I hate to say this, but I mean, don't then you don't want to say don't take this personal, but I really think that I need to really focus on me, and I apologize for taking all your time, and I mean, like, how do you tell someone like that?
I just feel like you tell them unapologetically. You be honest, you be open, and you be upfront. But to do that to somebody and then turn around and be dating somebody else is
No,
crazy
right?
work.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying, if you really taking the time, you have to be authentic and
Mhm,
true to you.
absolutely.
You got to be true to you. The only way to be is to be honest. Like she said, there's no easy way to say it. The only way is to be honest with you.
Mhm.
What does that look like, Juicy? Working on oneself. I hear that a lot. How you do that without professional therapy? Professional therapy is a great way to go.
Absolutely, for sure.
But
Everybody can
um,
afford that, though.
I think that a great way to do it, to focus on oneself, is, and I'm glad you said that, Delta, because that brings up a great place. reflect on your relationship patterns, talk about, go to therapy, heal past your emotional wounds, build confidence without romantic validation. That's very, very important. Take a year off, date yourself. Start writing down the things that it is, do the things that you enjoy doing with other people, start doing them with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it does take a strong mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times when it comes to how we operate, how we show up in relationships, we struggle because we're not being true to who we really are and not really being honest with ourselves. If you are not ready
Mm-hmm.
to be in a relationship. I think a lot of us are scared to be alone. We feel like we have to be busy. We have to inundate our life with things and people to do instead of really taking time to be alone and just sit still. It's hard to sit still and be alone in your own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also very
Therapeutic.
sobering.
Okay.
And it's very sobering.
Mm-hmm. But I think what it is like for like me that lives by myself and single and but I think like I find myself like it's real easy for me to take myself out to dinner or to a movie. I don't say necessarily go to a movie by myself, but I find it real easy to take myself out to dinner, to lunch, or go out to a club. Not not I don't do clubbing, but just like a sports bar or something like that. I find myself easy, and and just I just sit back and look at these like what how the dating pool has changed so much. So I don't feel like
I
I can use
mean,
it.
a lot of people, a lot of women decide to go through a dating detox because, a lot of times when it comes to dating nowadays, it's emotional, it's in a lot of emotional chaos. If you're dating someone who really doesn't want a commitment, but they have a hard time articulating that. They don't know, they can't be honest about themselves with that. You're going to find yourself running into problems in relationships because they don't want to be honest about what they really want. They don't know how to be direct and just have these serious conversations. They want to have sex, but they don't want to be in a relationship. And it's just the truth. And I feel like people just are having a hard time being honest. I think that we make relationships complicated because A, we don't know what we want. B, because we take our emotional baggage from our previous relationships and bring it into the next relationship. We hold other people accountable for what somebody else did to us. And that causes tension and problems when it comes to a relationship. You got to be honest with yourself.
Because some people like when you get in a relationship, when you go out to people and something happens, the first thing that person says, "Did someone hurt you?" First thing that comes out of a person's mouth, you meet somebody for the first time and you just do something out of character, and they say, "Hey, did someone hurt you in your previous relationship?"
Somebody said women makes it complicated.
Ooh.
That's not fair. And I feel like we both sides. It's not about a blame game for me. I think that it could go both ways. I hear men say a lot of times, choose a better man. What does that actually mean?
Mm.
What does that mean? Choose a better man. You could choose a better person. Show up authentically. Know what you want. It's not about placing blame.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just are not honest about what their true intentions are.
Or yeah, that's true.
Choose better men. How can you know if somebody toxic if they showing up very charismatic and showing up authentic, you giving them a chance and then you find out there's something to it.
Mm.
It's not one person's fault. And that's why I say this is a beautiful thing because it teaches you how to prioritize yourself and your own value and not negotiate with people about what your value and your standards are. Set your standards, set your boundaries, set what it is that works for you and what doesn't work for you. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't even try to.
Mhm.
You want somebody that's stable, respectful, consistent? Do that. And I hear a lot of men saying, oh, if the men that show up that way, if we show up that way, then they say we boring. Then that's not the woman for you. And it goes both ways. It's nobody's fault. We got to take responsibility for ourselves and stop blaming anybody, blaming other people. I think men and women, absolutely, we all should focus on ourselves. We should. I think that's a great thing to focus on yourself. Men should focus on themselves, being a whole healed person. Women should focus on being a whole healed person. And it's not about right or wrong, and it's not about good, bad, or indifferent. This is not male bashing. Men are amazing and wonderful. Women are amazing and wonderful. You just got to find the amazing person for you.
Mhm.
And when you don't find the amazing person, the right person for you and the amazing person for you, maybe you have to look at yourself.
I think
And
we
I'm saying as women, we got to look at ourselves. Who are we dating? Why are we dating them? Let's turn it back inward. And men too. If you keep running across women and you feel like all women are horrible, none of them no good, and we all ain't about nothing, then maybe you need to look at yourself and say, why am I picking women who are no good?
Mm.
If you feel like women are all whores and they just sleep with whoever and they can't be trusted, then maybe you need to look at yourself. Why are you picking women that can't be trusted? Is there something? Are you really picking who you are? Because we are a reflection of each other. So if you're picking somebody that is not reflecting back to you what you desire, then maybe it's you that you need to look at. If you're with somebody and you say y'all always are having communication problems, maybe you need to look at the way that you communicate. I mean, this is how we're honest with ourselves. Is that you? Do we have a caller? I think we don't have a caller. But yeah. So, I think that we have got caught up in this thing about women bashing, men bashing, and this back and forth thing. We
Yeah.
don't we not here for that. What we here for is how can we work on ourselves, be whole as an individual part first. A lot of times when it comes to relationships, people are so trying to focus on the other person and place blame on somebody else. Two whole, healed people should date. If you're not whole and you're not whole, and you shouldn't be dating. He said, I reflect good to my wife and the others I just sleep with. Hilarious.
All right, yeah. I ain't think it's gonna have that kind of night tonight.
I guess we having that
I ain't-
type of night, but I ain't
know
mad
that.
at it.
Huh?
I would love for him to call in.
Oh, okay.
My thing is, he said he's nice to his wife and the other women that he sleep with.
Maybe he's part of a concubine.
Yeah, maybe he's from a different culture where they have multiple wives. And I listen, if your wife love it and you're open and honest with her about what you're doing and she's okay with it and she doesn't mind sharing you with other women, so be it.
Have at it.
Have at it. You're an adult. If you are respecting her and she's respecting you and it works for you, who am I to tell you that that's wrong? I won't do it.
Whew.
You got to do what works for you.
And
you have to define your relationship in a manner that works for you as an individual and a person. I actually respect that. If that's how you choose to live your life and your wife and your girlfriends are happy with it and they're all happy, more power to it. At least you're being honest. But if you're lying, they know now. Exactly. As long as she knows.
Oh, okay.
If she's okay with it, if she like it, I love it.
Right.
But for the people who are tired of that and that's not what they
signed up for, right?
Signed up for. That's not what they want. Stop wasting your time. You have to invest in yourself emotionally first if you want to return. You can't give out. It's just like when you're on the airplane and they tell you, put your mask on first
First.
before you put your kids' mask on. Because if you pass out, then how you going to help the person next to you? You got to take care of you first. Self-preservation first. You got to make sure that you're whole and happy. You got to honor you first. So like when you said, how do you have a conversation with somebody? You be honest and you be open. Like, I thought I was ready. I am not.
Mhm.
And I just want to take some time to focus on me, because even though I hurt you in this situation and I'm completely and totally sorry, I got to do what works for me. And I have to be true and authentic to myself.
Mm.
And I'm doing you a disservice to drag you along in something that I know that I'm not going to fully commit to and do right by. So I'm going to release you so you can find the person
Well,
that
I
is
would
meant
say
for you.
I'm going to remove myself from the relationship.
Yes, I'm going to release you. It's the same thing. Release you, remove me. It's the same thing. We going
No.
to separate, and guess what? So that you can find a person that's really meant for you. I want you to find what you really are meant to have. And I think that we have such a fear of just being honest. But the honesty is always the best policy. It's always better to be honest with a person and not drape them off in something that they didn't sign up for. That's unfair. To waste multiple years of somebody's life and you know you're not ready, don't do that.
Mm.
That's silly. That's how people end up killed and going crazy, and kids hurt, families destroyed. Why? Because you wasn't honest. And I could go on and on about, taking away, and we rush into things too much as people. We rush into relationships with individuals and we haven't even got to know them. You instantly, y'all have sex and now y'all together. Why? Just don't have sex.
Maybe that's what they wanted. Like,
sometimes if you just having sex to have sex, that's not a relationship. I'm talking
it's a
about
sexual relationship.
It's not a relationship, it's sex. Y'all just had sex.
But then it revolves
What that
into
say?
sex.
Put that back up. Put that comment, I missed it. I wish all of our men were comfortable enough in relationships to speak what's on their heart and mind. Absolutely.
You know what? But when we do that, sometimes women look at it as a weakness for us.
It says, why lie? A woman who knows don't got room to plot. You ain't wrong. Go ahead. What was you saying?
I said with the comment, because a lot of times when men do open up to women, and it kind of bites them in the butt sometimes.
How does it bite them in the butt?
Based on what they said to them, that particular person.
Give me an example.
Like, for example, give me an example. Oh, you could be, if you tell, it could be either way. If you had some daddy issues and they'll come back and use that against you later on, that's why you can't keep a relationship, because you haven't resolved from your daddy issues.
You mean like a man have daddy issues?
Or just anybody.
Or
it could
anybody,
be, right.
And then that person comes back and throws it in their face.
Yeah. So that's why men don't want to, that's why men don't want to open up sometimes, because they feel like they can't be open, because once they become open, that person will use it back and use it against them later on. So that's why some men walk around with all this tension and can't really be themselves.
Yeah. I think that does happen sometimes, where
and men do
that's
too,
toxic.
though.
That's toxic behavior, and we got to get to the point where we're removing ourselves from situations that don't serve us. And I think that when you take the time to detox from dating, you don't run into these type of problems because you're taking your time. Yeah, that's definitely not a good person to be in a relationship with. You have to find a part. You have to take your time and make sure that you are really letting a person show you who they are. Because I promise you, if you don't rush into a situation and you take your time and you really get to know a person, they will reveal everything you need to know about them. You don't have to be mean. You ain't got to be angry. You just got to take your time. Like Delta Roots said, establish a friendship first. Have a friendship. Get to know that person for who they are before you take off your clothes, before you enter into a sexual relationship, and you'll find out exactly who that person is
Really,
and if
yeah.
that works for you or not. But we have to get away from this. We are accountable for our own actions, and we have to take accountability for ourselves and how we show up in this world. And we got to stop blaming other people when things don't work out. We have to take accountability, and I think this is a great start in being detox, whether you want to call it um, dating detox or you want to call it
BoySober.
boy sober, whatever movement, whatever you want to call it, it's all about doing self work and being authentic to who you are as an individual and a person, and making sure that you are not negotiating your value. We ignore red flags from people all the time. But when you really know who you are and you really start to heal really truthfully, you start seeing red flags and you be like, you know what? I'm cool.
I'm out. Deuces.
You're a good person. It's
But
not
for
blame
me,
it on me.
right. Take one for the team.
Blame it on me. It was me. I take full responsibility for it. So I just think that. So what? You got any final thoughts?
No, not really. I think that you made some very valid points tonight. Um, you always have some excellent points how you feel about different things. So not really. What about you, producer? Nothing?
She crickets back there.
I know, right?
So, do you think that being boy sober or dating detox is the solution to modern dating problems?
Yeah, for
What
sure.
you think? I think so too. I think so too. I think that right now we live in this culture where people are so against each other. And men and women are fighting. It's a conflict.
I don't know.
It's men's fault. It's women's fault. We live in this place where people are really arguing, and everyone has red flags. Are you willing to tolerate the person and vice versa? I feel like we are in this place where men are blaming women, women are blaming men, and nobody is doing the self work where they're really examining themselves and focusing on them and saying, I have no control over anybody else. I have no control over anyone. I only have control over me. So if you are controlling yourself and you are honoring who you are, I think that this is the complete and total. I think this is complete. Hey, Bocat. I think this is completely and totally how you solve problems. First of all, it causes people to really be honest and know what they want and be upfront about what they want. I think that it also is taking the power of way of blaming, but also self responsibility, right? It's making you be responsible for you. And I also think it's closing down this narrative of, rushing into relationships and making you really get to know a person, like for who they are as an individual, and just take time to focus on other things. We rely so much on outward validation instead of really validating ourselves. Take yourself out to eat, you know? Go on a trip by yourself. It is beautiful to take a trip by yourself. I'm queen of I will jump on a plane by myself in a minute.
I can't do that. I just
Oh
I
gosh,
can't
I love it.
go out. I just can't jump on a plane.
I've went to Mardi Gras. A couple years ago I went to the Zulu ball. by myself,
I would never.
had an amazing time, met amazing people. I went to the I mean, I travel a lot by myself. It ain't nothing for me to jump on a plane and be like, I'm out.
I want to go back to something you had mentioned though
Mhm.
about just pinning each other against each other. I think that's a really big issue.
It
I
is.
know. I wish we could find a remedy to that because we really, again, me and my coworker today was talking about how we really need each other.
We do.
We as just economically, as a
Mhm.
family, as a whole, we need to bring that niche that brings us together. It's ridiculous. I don't know if I want to blame the media for that. I don't know if I want to blame the government for that. It goes, and I want to get off the subject, but I just want to reiterate that we cannot do things by
I
ourselves.
agree, Delta.
We can't. There's no way. There's so much more. And you had mentioned this before, where if you're with somebody where you give this person $100 and she multiplies that, that is so awesome for the relationship. You know, it's just I don't know how people just go back and forth and what you bring to the table and I bring this to the table and I get tired of hearing about that. That to me is an overkill in
Or
that.
the 50-50. That's
Yeah,
another one that bothered me to death. Because if you really are committed, it should be 100-100. You bring 100% of yourself, I'm bringing 100% of myself, and we coming together and we doing the
yeah.
doggone thing together.
I'm all about togetherness.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of that comes from not being healed. I think that we don't want to take the
You
time
don't
out.
think the media played a role in that?
Oh, absolutely. Media, society, the
The
narrative that they
government,
steer,
the
what they
government just
push out there, what's being pushed out there on social media, all of that plays a part. But we play a part too because we don't have to buy into that.
right. You're
We
right.
don't have to buy into the separation of men and women. What we do have to do is take accountability for ourselves and make sure that we are respecting one another. Yeah, it's a definite, I agree. Those people have a severe savior mentality.
Hmm.
You're right.
Yeah,
And I just feel like we really have to focus on doing better. It's in the food he said Contrail Pro on social media pushing false agendas and broken families.
yeah. It's a
Yeah, it's
we
definitely an agenda to push the broken family, and
yeah. It's so
we ain't that
sad.
broke because at
Mm-mm.
the end of the day, babies are still being born. So somebody is loving on somebody. Who wants to settle for 50-50? I want us to be 200 plus. You better say that
I like that.
because together we can accomplish bigger things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We need to get. I hate that.
Yes.
I hate that separation of family, man. I hate it with a
Yeah.
passion.
Me too. And I just feel like we deserve so much more. And we deserve to have be healed and love one another and raise well established, well adjusted children who grow up in a well adjusted, happy, loving environment. I mean, that's ultimately who we've always been. And
Absolutely.
it was only once we start accepting the narrative that was pushed upon us that we start buying into this crazy foolishness. But we used to love one another, and everybody goal was to be in a healthy, loving relationship. We stuck together, good, bad, or indifferent. And
Yeah,
that's what it's really
it
about.
really is, man.
And we just got to get back to that place. And the only way to really get back to that place, in my opinion, is to heal.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's just a simple reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do is love. Love life, love you. Stop chasing love and be love. You know, you
It has
attract it
to,
differently when you operate differently, when you come from a place of really understanding,
but it
we can
also
do
has to,
better.
it
That's
has to,
the real glow up.
but it also has to be reciprocated too, though. You know what I'm saying? In a sense of like, if it like if I'm seeing someone and it just got to reassure each other that we love each other and do the good and bad. We're gonna stick it out. I think people just the first argument, I'm out. I'm just they don't work. They don't work like we used
Yeah.
to back in the day
Well,
relationships.
people don't listen. They want to be right.
Mm,
We don't listen to understand. We listen to be right. We want to debate. And all of that comes from a place of not being healed. When you don't understand, like when you're not listening to understand, but you're listening to have a rebuttal,
correct.
that is
Yes.
not effective communication. We have to get to a place where we're really listening to understand. What message are you trying to convey to me? How can I make you feel safe in that message that you're trying to convey to me? That's what it's about. Um,
Some
that's the most important thing. But before we go, I do want to say, um, I want to get your feedback. I want to know what the audience thinks. Can can you be boy sober for a year or girl sober or detox from dating for a year? Is that something that you think that you could do? Drop your answers in the comments. Yes, I can detox from relationships for a year, or no, I can't. I'm just curious.
yeah.
That means no dating, no situations, no entertaining potential relationships, just focused on you. And that's it. I can't wait to hear it because I know it's going to be interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I just feel like it's important to change our narrative and start building. So Lulu said yes. Okay. Yeah, to change the narrative that we have set up. Bocat say up, no.
Ooh.
Yes, honey said yes. Oh, Delta said no. Okay.
See?
I'm years in already.
Congratulations.
Yes. I mean, I don't think working on it as we speak.
Okay.
Okay. I think that my thing, my takeaway, I think the most important thing that you could do for yourself is break toxic dating patterns. Um,
I agree.
Focus on your personal growth, build your self confidence, because I feel like building your own self worth and your self confidence is where you find what it is that you really need and you desire, knowing yourself. Bocat said, I did that already. Now I'm about to be outside.
We outside.
um, um, I think that when you build your own self confidence, it's the best decision that you can make. I think that you learn that's in that place is where you learn what it is that you truly desire in a relationship. And you really heal in that place. That's when you really find out who you are, how you operate, and what's important to you. Um, Oopsie.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, I think that's where you really find your truth and what's important to you
Mhm.
is when you take that time to really focus on you, and that is where you find your most that's when you find a beautiful person you meant to be with. People have to learn that every relationship, friendship is the same. The next one may not be like the last one. Leave past hurts in the past and learn to move forward together. I agree. I definitely feel like that is something that we should be doing.
But I think the other part of that is like you got to be open to that too. Some people may not even be really open to relationship. They just kind of going through the motions and just jumping here and jumping out. Um, again, we had talked about hitting the reset button and holding ourselves accountable and taking a step back. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and that's what I kind of took out the show tonight. Just
Sometimes the biggest realization is that you're really not lonely. You just like being distracted.
Mm. I don't want to be distracted.
Yeah. I just think that my takeaway from this whole situation is just heal, be better, do better. Once we do that, we'll find ourselves in a place where we can really actually identify what it is that we really desire. Um,
I think at the end of the day,
we
everybody
have to
wants to be
remind
loved, though,
ourselves
right?
how powerful we are.
You think at the end of the day?
Hmm.
I think at the end of the day, I think everyone wants to be loved, though.
Oh gosh, it's the moving force of this world
Mhm.
is to be loved, and when people have an absence of love in their life, it can show.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It shows because they're not happy. They're not as happy, but you can't get to that place from an unhealed place. You keep making the same mistakes over and over.
yeah.
You just got to take your time and just love. So, thank you for another wonderful
Thank
show.
you. Thank you.
Glad to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad you feeling
Oh
better.
yeah, I'm 100% back. Thank you.
Glad you feeling
And I
better.
want to thank everybody that's called me and inboxed me. I just want to thank everybody.
Aw.
And I also want to just thank I just want to thank the viewers who's been with us from day one. And I don't want to say everybody's name because I don't want to miss anybody's name. I just want to just thank everybody that's been hanging with us for the last year and a half, 2 years. And I know for a fact, I know that I appreciate it. I know
We
Juicy
appreciate you.
appreciate that. So I just want to thank everybody that's been hanging in there with us.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. If you have not already and this is your first time watching, please, please, please go like, subscribe to Juicy Talk on YouTube. We truly, truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a part of our show and always sticking with us and, you know,
You could be doing
chatting with
something else.
us.
Right. You could be
I'll be
doing something
looking,
else.
you could be doing something else, but you here with us and we appreciate you. Much, much love. We have so much in store. We're so, so grateful. So this year, I just want to let y'all know
Okay.
that we're gonna stop our
Oh yeah.
our season a little bit early because I have a lot going on. I have a daughter that is graduating and going away to college, and I want to really be able to focus on
Absolutely.
her prom and her graduating and her next journey in life as we send her off into the world to be great, right? And I just really, really want to be able to give that to her and give her my undivided
Absolutely.
attention. Because what do we do? Family first, right? We want to be
Absolutely.
able to. So, our last show this year will be the last Thursday in April because all of May will be dedicated to my baby girl.
Absolutely. For sure.
My baby girl.
Yeah.
So she's gonna commit. She's found her college that she's gonna go to, and
She's gonna do well though. She's gonna do very well. She really
gonna
is.
do amazing. She's amazing. So I'm just so excited for her. So and I will definitely be sharing with you guys as we go along. And so I know we didn't take a Juicy Talk cruise or trip this year because my baby's
I
graduating
know,
and
right?
I wanna focus on her and her next level and where she's going in life. So I'm so grateful for that. And yes. So, but until then, thank you so very much, VJP Purpose. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And we're really excited for what is next
I
for
know.
her.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yes. So, but until then, we got some great shows and we are working on finances and trying to I want to thank everybody who took the survey for me. It gave me like really, really good feedback on what we're going to have planned for you guys. And we're always working for you and on your behalf. And so we got a lot of stuff planned yet and some things to come. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always being with us, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. And again, last week I want to shout out to Dave, man. He did an excellent job. Excellent. I need to get with him because he is the bomb for real. For real.
Yes, and for you guys that don't know, David is our financial strategist that comes on and talks to us about money. And we're looking at doing some more collabs with him maybe even doing a seminar. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Another great show.
Yep.
Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.